They thought your silence would be temporary, a game, a fleeting moment of weakness that would eventually break you. They assumed you'd check their social media, wonder about their life, and cave in with a message, a flicker of regret, a desperate reach to reconnect. They believed that by ignoring you, they could keep you tethered, emotionally restless, craving closeness, hungry for their validation. But what they never saw coming was something far more ruthless. Silence still leaves room for hope. It keeps the door half open, letting doubt and longing creep through the cracks. But a Stoic, he doesn't linger in doorways. He closes it, fully, firmly, finally. This isn't about punishing them, it's about freeing yourself. Because the most ruthless move isn't speaking less, it's stopping existing in their emotional world entirely. Let's dive into the 7 traits of complete emotional erasure and uncover what it truly means to reclaim your inner power. Trait 1. Emotional erasure. Like a ghost that never asked to be remembered. This isn't silence, it's disappearance. You don't block them to stir a reaction. You don't post cryptic stories hoping they'll notice. You don't refresh their feed. You don't look back. You simply vanish. Not just from their life, but from the idea that they ever held power over you. Emotional erasure isn't deleting photos. It's deleting their emotional weight from your soul. From a Stoic lens, this isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. You didn't go quiet to make them wonder. You removed yourself to make yourself whole. This is absence that echoes. It's the moment they realize you're not silent because you're hurting. You're silent because you're healed. Erasure isn't wiping them from the world. It's wiping away the version of you that needed their approval. Trait 2. True indifference. Still water doesn't care what broke the surface. Indifference isn't a mask for pain. It's the absence of emotional stakes. You don't wish they'd regret. You don't hope they miss you. You simply don't need their reaction anymore. No curiosity, no tension, no checking. Their updates, just someone else's story, and you're not in it. To the Stoic, this is apatheia, the calm of being undisturbed. You take back control, not by burying emotion, but by cutting their access to it. Epictetus said, if someone provokes you, your mind's complicit in it. Indifference, that's you opting out, no longer reacting, just released. You stop asking, do they still think of me? And instead, you wake up realizing you've stopped thinking of them. Real power isn't proving you've moved on. It's opening your eyes one day and knowing you already had. Trait 3. Psychological disappearance. They can't feel you anymore, even when they try. You've left the spaces they could still reach. No social media hints, no passive-aggressive silence, no digital shadows. To them, you're gone. But really, you just pulled your attention back. You didn't just walk away, you took their power with you. Because what they feared wasn't your silence, it was the moment they couldn't sense you at all. In Stoic terms, this is detachment with discipline. Not ghosting out of spite, but exiting with awareness. Seneca once said, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. You've chosen to be nowhere, to them. So you can be fully present with yourself. And when they search for a glance, a reaction, even bitterness, they find nothing. Not because you're empty, but because they're no longer entitled to your emotional world. Psychological disappearance is the cleanest cut, no trace, no weight, no return. Trait 4. Silent evolution. You didn't vanish to escape, you vanished to evolve. After the storm, there's no need to shout about the rebuild. You don't post updates, you don't chase applause. Your transformation happens where it belongs, in silence. The world doesn't need to witness your healing, especially not those who once broke you. You turn inward, you work in the shadows. Better habits, sharper mind, stronger values. You become a man they wouldn't recognize because you no longer need recognition. In Stoicism, this is virtue through action, not fanfare. You don't grow to impress, you grow to realign. Seneca said, "It's not that life's short, but that we waste so much of it." And now, you're done wasting it on who's watching. While they spend seconds staring, you're becoming untouchable. Growth isn't a performance anymore. It's something you guard from their eyes, your past, and who you once were. Trait 5. No residue closure. When they come back, there's nothing left to touch. They will return. Not always with apologies, sometimes confusion, sometimes ego, sometimes silence, waiting for yours to crack first. But you've outgrown the cycle. You don't respond, not out of anger, but because there's nothing to say. They expect a fight, a flare-up, a burst of feeling. But they find nothing. Not love, not hate, just absence. To the Stoic, closure isn't begged from others, it's something you grant yourself. Epictetus taught, it's not events that disturb us, but how we judge them. So you stop judging, stop hoping, you let it end without dragging it back for a show. No long text, no explanation, no take care. When they look for your pain, they see only space. And that space? That's your peace. Trait 6. Self-reclaiming solitude. When the world went quiet, you heard yourself again. At first, the silence stung, lonely even. But then you stopped filling it and started listening. You realized you weren't scared of being alone, you were scared of facing your own thoughts. But now, solitude isn't punishment, it's a return to your values, your path, your voice. In Stoicism, solitude isn't retreat, it's alignment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere's quieter or more untroubled than your own soul." You stopped chasing peace in their presence and started building it in yours. No posts to share, no messages to send, no moments to prove. Just a man, a path, and the sound of everything unnecessary falling away. This isn't isolation, it's homecoming to the person they could never truly touch. Trait 7. Final boundary. This time, the gate's not locked, it's gone. Boundaries don't always need words. Sometimes, they're the space you refuse to fill again. You didn't storm out, you just stopped showing up, stopped explaining, proving, justifying. The version of you who'd fight for their attention, he's no longer available. This isn't a test, not a game, it's a decision, quiet but final. The Stoics knew true strength is knowing what doesn't deserve your life anymore. Seneca said, "He who can't refuse can't give." You don't hold grudges, you just hold the line. And this time, it doesn't budge. No anger, no resentment, just a truth they'll face. The door they once pushed open so easily, it's gone. Stoic reflection. You didn't disappear to wound them. You disappeared to reclaim yourself. No final message, no grand farewell, just a quiet return to your own authority. That's the Stoic way. Power isn't seized, it's withdrawn. And when you pull it back fully, cleanly, without apology, they're left not with pain, but with nothing. Because that's what happens when someone finally realizes they never had power over you. They just borrowed the parts of you that were still unfinished. But now, you are finished. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And your freedom began the moment you stopped waiting to be understood and started walking with no need to look back. You didn't move on with noise. You moved beyond it, in silence, in strength, and in full command of your peace. Have you ever disappeared? Not just physically, but emotionally? What did it feel like to finally let go? Not to win, not to prove a point, but simply to be free? Share your experience in the comments. You never know who might find strength in your silence.